This is Saturday Morning Mysteries.
And we're your hosts, Alexis and Grace.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Saturday Morning Mysteries, where we're your hosts. I'm Grace.
I'm Alexis.
And we are back. It is officially October, and we are fully in the swing of Halloween and spooky season, which means we are doing our Halloween arc, aka we can choose any show that's an animated childhood classic cartoon and recap it as long as we believe it has anything to do with Halloween. That definition's broad. And here we are. And so, as a reminder, this week and next week, Alexis will be doing episodes, and then I'll be doing a two-parter to finish up the month. And that's all we got. We have like a little tracker where we like track what episodes each one of us are doing. And I think for the Halloween arc, I wrote mine down so fast that I have not gone back to look to see what you wrote down. So I truly have no idea even what show you're doing today. So I'm really excited.
So it's total surprise.
I feel very in the dark. I'm like, what is this? What are we doing? Like, we don't know the episodes usually, but I know what show we're usually doing because we're doing the same show usually. So
and that's why I like our little Halloween, or I should say our holiday in general arcs, because we do it for Thanksgiving and like Christmas/winter too, because it's like anything goes. Like it could be a show we've covered in the past. It could be a show we've never talked about. So in this case, I will say it's a show we've done before.
Okay.
It's definitely one of our favorite shows. It was one of the ones that really got us kicked off with our podcast.
Okay.
And like you said, you feel like you're in the dark. It's because we are going back to the dark, damp, I shouldn't say damp, I guess arid, more so, and dry town of Nowhere, Kansas. We're talking about Courage the
Courage.
This week. Yes.
Every day of Courage's life is Halloween.
Yeah, literally. And that is a perfect way to segue into two ways. One, what you just said there, and two, what you said earlier with like, we can kind of play it fast and loose with what is and is not Halloween themed during this arc, because this episode is not specifically about anything related to Halloween, but one, it's Courage the Cowardly Dog, so every episode is literally creepy and spooky and weird. And two, the episode I'm talking about actually aired and like premiered on October 31st, 2000.
Oh, it's a Halloween episode.
Exactly. So even though it's not Halloween themed, naturally, again, it's spooky, it's creepy, it's scary and weird, it's Courage, and it literally came out on Halloween. So I think that falls within our definition pretty clearly.
Literal Halloween episode.
Yes, of what is a Halloween episode.
Ooh, cool.
So a quick recap of Courage the Cowardly Dog for folks who are either new to our podcast or have never heard of Courage the Cowardly Dog for whatever unfortunate reason. What are you doing? What's wrong with you? It's like our 60-something-year-old parents.
They would have heard us watching it, though.
True, because I assume that they have listened and subscribed and everything to every single episode. Mom, dad, aunts, uncles out there listening. Everyone, yes. But just in case, if for whatever reason you're unfamiliar with Courage the Cowardly Dog, it is a show, a cartoon, came out Cartoon Network, early 2000s, like 2000 to maybe 2005 or so, something like that. It tells the story of a dog who was found by two older people living in this literally town of nowhere, like nothing around them in the middle of Kansas. Muriel and Eustace Bagg, they adopted this dog or rescued this dog, called him Courage. He is actually not that cowardly as his name would suggest. He's always saving the family, particularly Muriel, from a series of, we'll say, the effects of what is like halfway either a super fun site and like ancient burial grounds, because there are always these like mutated, horrible monster animals attacking their farm, and ghosts and just weird spiritual things going on in this town of nowhere on the Bagg family farm. And so, yes, it really is just a story about Courage constantly saving the day and making sure that his owners, but particularly Muriel, because Eustace is an asshole, from the danger of this middle of nowhere town.
Mm-hmm.
So this episode, like many of the others, particularly if you watched our previous arc, it begins on a normal evening in this arid twilight night at the Bag family farm. But really, is there ever really a normal evening on their farm? So we see Courage outside playing with some toys and whatnot in the dirt, and then we also see, meanwhile, a delivery driver dropping off a package of what happens to be curtains from a nearby store to Muriel. And Muriel is super excited to get this package. She's like, oh my God, my curtains are finally here. And she runs to immediately show these new curtains to Eustace, who is, as per usual, in the kitchen, angrily eating whatever, like slop or whatever he can eat. Yes, it looks like porridge, honestly, because he like has no teeth pretty much. He can't chew.
Can't eat. Yeah.
So Eustace is not at all excited to see these curtains that Muriel is obviously very excited about. And he pretty much just like expresses his annoyance at Muriel for interrupting his meal. Like, get out of here, I'm trying to eat, or whatever. Something like that. He really is. And the jerkiness gets even more so. I will say, he is straight up the villain in this episode. So keep a pin in that. Yeah, like he is the bad guy.
Damn it.
So, which in our arc, that was our overarching theory. But in this case, like it is him. So,
this is the most blatant
it's him. He's the villain here. But this annoyance that Eustace has, it doesn't ruin Muriel's spirits.
She's used to the abuse.
Exactly. She's still just excitedly looking at these curtains and showing him. And as she's kind of like going through the box that they came in, she notices that there's also a complimentary packet of seeds that came with the new drapes. So she pulls them out and she's showing him like, look, we can plant these. It'll be so nice. But Eustace just scoffs at her, and kind of rightly so, saying like, nothing has grown on this land in 50 years. And so...
Do you think I would be this grumpy if we were successful farmers?
Exactly. Honestly, that's probably why, half of the reason why he is as terrible as he is.
Yeah.
They would definitely be eating more than porridge if their land would actually grow something. But he's curious a little bit, so he rips open the packet, takes a look at the seeds that are in there, and he's like, well, what kind of dumb seeds are these anyway? And again, while I detest Eustace, I must agree with him yet again, just a little bit, that these seeds do look very strange and a bit foreign and or like uncommon, because they are like on their, little beads, almost like little bean looking things that are pink on one thing, like very vibrant pink on one side. Very purple on the other side. And they have this tiny green tip at the top of them.
Yeah, sketchy.
Seems sketchy, but realizing that the seeds are unlikely to yield anything of value for the Bag family, Eustace then just kind of like chucks them out of the open window in the kitchen. And Muriel, she's honestly too into the new curtains. Like, the seeds were cool, but like, again, she's really excited about the curtains. So she doesn't really care or even see that Eustace just kind of throws these seeds outside.
Got it.
The seeds, though, they land right on Courage's head, who, as I said before, he's outside. He's so adorable. He's out there with like these little toy trucks and stuff, just like digging in the dirt, like making like the truck noises. And he's like making sand castles and everything, just playing in the dirt. So best cute, boy. Like right underneath the kitchen window. He literally the best boy. And so Courage, he takes these seeds that just landed on his head and he like sniffs them. And again, like the good boy he is, he smells life in them. He knows like, oh, no, we can get something good out of this. So he goes, exactly. And he goes deeper down into the farm, the dry land, whatever you want to call it. And he goes to plant them out in the field or the dirt and, sees what happens. And so coincidentally, though, right as Courage finishes covering the seeds back up with soil and dirt, whatever, we see a rain cloud just like flow right over top of him.
Is it like a single cloud?
A single cloud. And it unleashes a downpour right over him and where he's planted these seeds. And it waters the seeds. And almost instantly, a deep purple tree begins to sprout from the dirt, some 20 or more feet, just like immediately starts rising up.
Okay.
And purple leaves, these very lush purple leaves, immediately grow and cover all of the branches on the trees. And these pink rose-like flowers start to bloom at the top of the tree as the sunset kind of hits right on the top of the tree line. And so Muriel, she runs out because she hears like, what the fuck is this? Is someone growing over here? And she runs out and she's just like marveling at this tree's beauty. Like, oh my God, Courage, you did such a good job. What a good boy. And Courage is just smiling all proud, like, thank you. Yeah, it's beautiful. But Eustace, on the other hand, there can be no joy on his farm. So he stays inside. He's like looking out the window. And he jealously is just like, well, I can't grow anything on this farm. It's been 50 years. And yet Courage, he can grow a tree in an instant. How dare he, essentially, is like the vibe he's giving off.
On a toxic waste site, you can only grow toxic waste seeds. You got to match them.
Exactly.
You need radioactive seeds for your radioactive dump.
Radioactive soil / dirt. Yes.
It's farming 101.
Exactly. Come on, Eustace. What did your parents ever teach you?
Nothing.
Clearly nothing. And so Muriel, she's amazed by this tree, and she's so amazed and distracted by it that the pie that she happens to also be baking in the oven burns. She can like smell the smoke coming out of the window in the kitchen. And so she runs back in and she's like, oh my God, I got to get it out of the oven. But it is a smoky mess inside of the house. So her and Courage, they're back in there like fanning the room down and everything and trying to opening the doors and like airing it out. And she pulls the pie out and it's ruined. And then she complains to Eustace that she wishes she had a new oven because this one is just so messed up. She's like, it's not because I just got distracted and ran outside. Well, I clearly had something in the oven. The oven
something was about to come out of the oven.
The oven is the problem.
The oven should have turned off.
Yes. But just as she says this, wishing for a new oven, Courage hears a very loud thud outside of the house. And he looks out the door, kind of peeks out, and he sees that a brand new oven has apparently fallen from the tree.
We got like a wishing tree.
A wishing tree. It is a magic tree.
Okay.
And like you can tell, it's clear that it came from the tree. It's not like someone just dropped it off there because it's got you see leaves falling around it and it is right under the branches of this tree. And so curious, oh my God, Courage gets Eustace and Muriel's. I just like merged all three of their names.
All their names.
Curious.
Into curious.
Yeah. Courage gets Eustace and Muriel's attention and like points out to the oven, like, oh my God, look, go get it. And so Eustace brings in the oven, like literally nearly breaking his back, which I was like, good.
I was going to say, when they realize it's a wish tree, is Muriel like, I wish Eustace was gone. He just like snaps out of existence.
Put a pin in that. I won't say that exact wish comes up, but
a vibe happens.
Some abuse goes on here later. Of course, as per usual. Eustace is the worst.
Yep.
So Eustace, he actually, Muriel tells him, go bring it in, Eustace. And I was immediately thinking, like, he's not going to do that shit, Muriel. Like, why even ask? But he does. He goes out.
Because it's food for him.
Exactly. He knows, like, I can't eat if this oven is fucked up. So let me go get this new one. He does nearly break his back, which is great. But he plops that bad boy down into the kitchen. And Muriel thanks Courage for the new oven and the lovely tree. Like, no one at all is freaked out, though, about the fact that a brand new oven just fell from a tree.
This is like
right after she said she wanted a new one.
A spooky thing happening, but it's the first like beneficial spooky thing that's happened thus far in their lives. Yeah. Like usually it's horror and pain and terror.
Yes, exactly.
And this one's just like maybe some terror, but like
It's weird. It's weird, but exactly. No one's getting hurt besides Eustace almost breaking his back. But again, like, that's fine. I'm okay with that. Yeah. Like I said,
you gotta break some eggs to make an omelet.
Yeah. You gotta break Eustace's back to get a new oven. And like I said, Eustace is the true villain of this episode. Yeah. So just keep that in mind.
Okay.
So as Muriel's going on thanking Courage for the oven and the tree, Eustace is obviously upset because he feels like he's being upstaged by the good doggy that Courage is, and the giving tree, if you may,
if you will,
magic
copyright trademark.
Yes, sorry, don't come at me. I forget who is that by. I don't know. Whatever. I want to say it is Shel Silverstein, but I could be
whatever.
wrong.
If we get it wrong, anyway, then it's not copyright infringement. Exactly. Great.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's in the law somewhere, I think. So later that evening, or like maybe the next day, I don't know, we see Courage out again playing in the dirt with his little toy trucks and everything. But sadly, the toy breaks under the weight of the dirt. And Courage, then we see he does like his little thought bubble thing, and he literally just imagines having a real tractor or like backhoe type thing to play with. And immediately we hear this massive thud and like this strong rumbling coming from the tree. And Courage is like startled, and he turns around and looks over at the tree. And you guessed it, a real backhoe has just fallen
for this dog
from the tree for the dog, ready for Courage to play with.
The keys are in it.
Keys are in it. It's fueled up, ready to go. Yeah. And Courage wastes no time. Like, he and Muriel literally hop right on into this thing, and they just start moving dirt all over the property. Like, they're like laughing and having so much fun. And Eustace, he like pops his head out of the window and tells him to quiet down out there so that he can take his nap. But this out, obviously, Muriel, who is used to the abuse by Eustace, but still doesn't really like it, obviously. She's like, oh my God, hurry, Courage, we got to turn it off. How do we turn this thing off? Like, Eustace is going to get so mad. He's going to hit me. No. Isn't funny.
It's like funny because this is like a real, like, this is like a legitimate reaction.
Yeah.
It's funny because it's booked for a children's show.
Exactly. Again, we laugh to cope. That's how the coping mechanism. But like, also, that's literally the vibe that Muriel's giving off. You're like, oh shit, turn it off. He's so mad. He's angry. It's very sad.
Also, like, again, we've said it once, we've said it a million times, like, the real monsters are always other humans, and yes, Eustace is the monster.
He is that human in this case. Okay. So unfortunately, though, rather than just turning the tractor off when Eustace yells at them, they accidentally unleash all of the dirt that is in like the backhoe part right onto his head as he's like popped out of the window. And like, I wrote a note there like, hee, got him. But oh no, sorry. Maybe they've concussed him, so now he won't be able to hit her after.
Now he's asleep though. Sleep that concussion off.
Enjoy your nap, good sir. Horrible sir.
Yeah.
Yes. That was an accident.
I turned the key the wrong way.
Yeah. Oops, I pressed the wrong button. They like have the instruction manual in their hand.
We're like,
wrong button.
There's no button to turn it off. It's a key. There's a button to dump it though. Those are two separate things entirely.
Yeah. It's like there's no way one could mix those two things up. Almost no way at all.
Yep.
So yes, we know what Muriel and Courage are really up to. But anyway, so loving this tree and all of the wonderful gifts it's giving them, Muriel decides, and also because she's like, I gotta avoid Eustace at all costs now, she decides to bring her rocking chair outside and she sets it underneath the tree so that she and Courage can just enjoy the moonlight and some quiet time on this calm night at the farm. And Eustace comes out. It's like pretty much night by now, like totally dark out. Eustace comes out to tell them that he's leaving. He's going to go to the movies since he's apparently not wanted around the farm anymore, which true. Very true. You never were wanted. Muriel just needed a roof over her head.
Drama.
Anyway, drama. Yeah, he's
drama
like competing, but also like insecurity and like,
yeah,
imagine competing with a tree
and a dog.
The dog, I understand. A dog can definitely steal someone from someone else.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
A
that's
tree,
true. Yeah, his masculinity is pretty fragile.
It's pretty fragile. So, seeing though that Eustace does not want to invite Muriel and Courage to go with him to the movies, Muriel then wishes that her and Courage also see a movie. Mm-hmm. And again, the tree delivers because we see a projector kind of like pop out of these branches, and onto the side of the farmhouse, a black and white film starts playing. And by the way, this
are they doing really like a real life film?
It's a real life film, because you know how they like kind of merge like live action stuff with the animation in the show, which there's more of that later that I will get to. But this is really like the first kind of scary part of the episode, where like it's clearly like a thriller horror movie, and it's very questionable, because we just see this dude like slowly approaching this group of old women, like holding what appears to be a rope stretched out, like he's about to choke and strangle them, and the women are just like cowering, like instead of running, they're just staring at him like,
Cartoon Network.
What the fuck?
They were like, we already showed what actual abuse victims have to deal with. We might as well throw this in there.
And it's even funny. It's even funnier because Muriel and Courage are just watching, like on the rocking chair, like, oh, how nice. Just like Muriel fucking loves horror movies, apparently. Yeah,
you know what? That
jam.
Checks out.
It does. This is honestly less scary than the normal stuff they deal with on a daily basis.
Her life is a horror movie.
Yeah. She's like, I need an escape. Please,
God.
let me see something a little more mild. Oh yes, this random man about to strangle these women. Perfect. At least it's not a humanoid gerbil who's about to kidnap me and
yeah, she's like
put me in a habit trail. Yeah. She's like getting tucked in, like how calming and nice.
My favorite.
And so just as Eustace is starting up the car to head out to his movie, he looks up and sees this like movie projecting on the house, and he's like, what the fuck? Like he's pissed and jealous. And then he just floors his truck, driving it directly at the tree.
Oh my God.
Which Muriel and Courage are sitting right under. This is attempted murder.
Yes. Of course.
Attempted murder. And so he's driving it directly at the tree, thinking that that's the best way to get rid of this thing, because, oh, no, how dare this tree make the wife that I have, who I happen to hate, and the dog that she also has that I hate, happy. Exactly. That's my job. Yes. How dare you? So Muriel, she hops out of her rocking chair at the last second, but she stands even more directly in front of the tree, which does force Eustace to stop. He's evil, but I guess he's not that evil.
But he was like, who's going to use this new oven?
Yeah. I can't cook. I can't cook. Yeah. Like, I don't mind hitting the tree when she's near it, but I can't like straight up kill her. Yeah.
Yeah.
No one else is going to marry me. So like,
yeah, absolutely not. I need food somehow.
Yes. So Muriel tells him, like, don't you dare harm this tree. You're being crazy right now. Sure. This tree is like, this family needs this tree. It's providing for us. Are you out of your mind, Eustace? Mm-hmm. And Eustace then, like, kind of sadly, but again, we hate him, so it doesn't matter. But after Muriel says, like, this tree is providing for us, Eustace is like, but that's my job.
Well, you're not a shit doing it.
Exactly.
Go to town and get a job then.
Exactly. Do it. Figure out how to fucking farm on this land then. Do something.
Go and then get a job at the movie theater you were going to go to.
Yeah. I'm sure you'll make at least a couple of dollars an hour, sir.
Yeah. Before you get fired for bad customer service.
Where you fuck up the whole place. Which then I do have a note here after he says, like, but that's my job, pretty much like building off of what you just said there. Like, buddy, you can't have it both ways. You can't ignore and berate and abuse and refuse to help your family and then get jealous when they come across something or someone who actually is taking care of them and providing for them. Like, why don't you wish for something that then will make your life happier, you know?
Right. And easier and like
exactly.
Which you provide.
This is good for everyone. This is good for everyone, right? This magic radioactive tree in your backyard.
You're on radioactive land. You might as well lead into it. Which also actually, you saying that though, does then make me think of like, oh yeah, maybe that is why Eustace hates Courage so much, is because Courage makes me real happy, and like they provide each other like a mutual love, and he's like, but I'm supposed to be the thing you love like that, and she's like, well then don't abuse me then, bro.
Yeah, right, stop hitting me.
That is like, oh yeah, maybe that is why he hates Courage so much. So very astute observation.
Thank you. And again, a comment on his very fragile or lack of masculinity and his insecurities.
Yep.
So that night, while Muriel and Courage are tucked into bed, Eustace, he sneaks out and he's like cursing at this tree, calling it stupid and saying like, I don't want Muriel hang out. You tell that tree, good sir. And he like grabs Muriel's rocking chair and brings it inside because he's like, I don't want her sitting out here anymore. I want her inside with me. And at this point, kind of unpinning something you said earlier about wishing for something, you know, whatever. And me also saying that Eustace should use the tree for his benefit. Eustace mutters to himself that he wishes Muriel had a bigger head so she knew what was good for her.
Oh no.
And you guessed it, dear audience and Grace. No. When Muriel wakes up the next day, her head is fucking huge. Like 3 times the size of her body.
Oh no.
As big as like a baby elephant.
Oh my God.
Bigger than a Fiat car, which are small cars, but not how big a head is supposed to be. And she is very sick from this. She's like, it's actually very funny. She's like laying on their sofa, but her head is so big that like her body is on the sofa, but the head is like tilted off. Eustace's car is on, Eustace's chair. And it's really gross. It reminded me as a callback to my the infected foot episode.
Oh no.
Where it has these like green boils on it and like little white hair sticking out from the boils.
Oh no.
And she is clearly just like
dying.
In pain. She's like dying. She's like moaning and groaning in pain and not feeling well.
Oh my
God. And Eustace, our villain, he looks at Muriel and he's like, Muriel, what did you do to yourself?
What?
This son of a bitch.
Jesus.
And she asks Courage, Muriel then asks Courage to go get her a glass of water, which perhaps again a commentary on the state of healthcare in this country, that she's like, oh, a glass of water should fix it. I don't need to go to the emergency room.
I'm good, thanks.
I'm good.
I'll just die here.
You know what? It'll be cheaper if I just die here rather than getting an ambulance to go die at the hospital.
Eustace isn't going to pay for that.
No. I'm
not going to leave him in debt.
So Eustace then, while Courage runs off to get Muriel a glass of water, Eustace asks Muriel about breakfast.
Oh my God.
And Muriel's like, oh, no, thank you, Eustace. I couldn't eat a bite.
That's not what he meant.
And Eustace responds, I meant for me.
This fucking guy.
He's the fucking worst. It's a horror movie, ladies. Dude, it's a horror movie. This man is a monster. And so when Muriel just kind of like moans and groans after he asks her to cook him breakfast, Eustace realizes, oh shit, this is serious. And he does actually call in a doctor to help. Okay. And so enter the local doctor, who I don't think came up in our previous Courage arc, but he is actually a recurring character. And I remember him being in several episodes because as one could imagine, the doctor does need to come quite often in this ridiculous radioactive town of nowhere because they're always being attacked. And not just popular. Dr. LeQuack.
Yeah, I was going to say, wait, is this LeQuack? It's a real doctor.
How hilarious is that be? a real doctor.
Okay, good.
So, I mean, I'll briefly describe him because if we ever cover Courage again, maybe he'll come up. Yeah, but he appears to be like either an Indian or Pakistani man. He's got like a very thick accent when he talks, and he has thick white eyebrows to the point where you can't even see his eyes.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah, the thick white mustache, and he's got gray hair sticking out from the sides of his head.
Yeah.
And has like the head mirror, which is like a very retro doctor's tool on like his head, the circular thing that's like strapped on his head.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he pulls out a stethoscope and he's looking, he uses that to examine Muriel. He's like putting it on her head, like, I don't know, getting a pulse or something.
He's like, I don't know what the fuck to do about this.
I know. And it's hilarious. And the doctor is a very funny character. And again, as a commentary on the state of healthcare in America, he's like always like prescribing the weirdest stuff and like what's the word I'm looking for? Diagnosing them with the just with random shit that's like clearly
is WebMD.
Right. He literally he walked so that, or he crawled so that WebMD could run.
Yeah.
Like someone watched Courage the Cowardly Dog and they're like, oh, we could create a website based on this doctor.
That just
enter WebMD. And so he's like putting the stethoscope on Muriel's head and he looks at Courage and them and is like, this appears to be the worst case of bully that I've ever seen.
What the fuck is bully?
I don't know, but apparently Courage knows because he like screams when he says that, or he's like, oh no, not
it just
bully.
Sounds scary, so he screams. Yes. He doesn't know.
So the doctor then starts to just operate right there in the living room. He like pulls out these oversized medical tools.
Big head, it makes sense.
True. You gotta meet the moment here. And he's like low-key violently performing surgery on her head, like hammering shit and like cutting with scissors.
Oh my god. Horror movie.
But after literally horror movie. Both Eustace and the doctor, they're in on it together. They're the monsters.
Just turn into Human Centipede.
Oh no, stop. You always bring up that movie. Yeah. Imagine him like connecting another human to her head. You see this like misshapen human like growing like out of
small human.
Help me.
Ew. Gross.
So
I
gross.
hate it.
So gross.
Sorry for bringing it up.
So after giving it his best shot in this violent surgery in the family room, he tells Eustace and Courage that there's really nothing for them to worry about, but also nothing he can do to help. And then he just leaves. Don't
worry, you won't get it.
Yeah.
Bye.
It's not contagious, but she will die. See ya. Yeah. I'll send my bill.
Of course. Most
again, perhaps a commentary on the state of healthcare in America.
Yep.
You tell me.
I can't do anything, but you're still going to get charged. Bye.
Exactly. See you. Bye. And it's not contagious, so feel free to like hang out with her. Anyway, so Eustace at this point blames Courage and the rotten tree rather than, looking inward and realizing that he indeed was the one that wished for her to have this giant head. And he then kicks Courage out of the house so that he can order takeout for breakfast, so that Eustace can go about his day and order takeout for breakfast. Horrible, as per usual.
Yeah.
So Courage, he then runs up to the tree and he asks it for help, I guess. And probably in one of the trippiest moments of this show ever.
Oh, it's a high bar.
It's a high bar, and I think it meets it, though.
Okay.
I mentioned before, the show likes to do like a little combo of live action recording and animation. Courage, after asking the tree for help, he looks up, and realistic eyes and a mouth appear on the tree.
Oh, I hate that.
So the eyes are realistic, but they're bright green. And then the mouth is like a real mouth that clearly they like put a camera right in someone's face and recorded them like reading off the
oh my god
for
I
the
hate
tree
this.
And then they rendered the real mouth onto the tree trunk. And it's so off-putting.
I hate it. I hate the thought of this.
But also so perfectly Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Yes, true.
And the tree has this very deep and, kind of commanding, but also majestic voice to it. Like, Courage, what I cannot give you what you seek. In 1 week's time, or no, sorry, in 3 days' time, I will be cut down. Like,
oh my God.
Yeah, it's weird. So like at first Courage freaks out when he sees this face on the tree and it starts talking, but then the tree is like, Courage, you have nothing to fear. Aww. And he's like, I have the cure that you seek, but it will take 3 days, and in 3 days I will be cut down.
He's gonna sacrifice himself for Muriel.
Mm-hmm. And then
this
Courage,
is the Giving Tree.
Obviously, it is the Giving Tree. Actually, you're probably directly based on that. Again, copyright. Don't tell us. Tell Cartoon Network, not us.
The spooky tree.
And so this sends Courage into a panic because he's like, shit, no, we can't lose you. And also that kind of gives me a time crunch on getting Muriel back to normal. Yeah. So then in a very kind of like prophetic way, the tree then tells Courage, anything worth its value is worth fighting for. Which is like, oh my God. This tree is amazing.
I think this tree is
horrifying, but amazing. It might be.
I think this might be the god of the Courage Cowardly Dog universe.
Yeah.
Possibly.
And so Courage, he's like a little confused by whatever wisdom the tree is trying to impart on him. But he then hears Eustace like cackling and evilly laughing in their barn nearby. So Courage like runs over and peeks his head into the barn. And he sees Eustace sharpening a massive axe and like practicing swinging it, saying like, oh man, I'm about to cut this thing down. So it's either the tree is saying like, I will sacrifice myself for you, or he's saying like, no, I see the future. In 3 days' time, I will be cut down.
Yeah, like Eustace is gonna do it.
Exactly. And so this sends Courage into even more of a panic. And he immediately then jumps into his backhoe that he still has, thank you to the Giving Tree. And he literally starts digging a moat around this tree. And then he uses the reclaimed dirt to then build a castle around it.
We saw him making sandcastles earlier.
Exactly. All of his skills are coming back. They're coming back to protect this tree. But he takes it even a step further and he actually fills the moat with water and then places mutant eels into the water. They're like in a packet. It's almost like the what are the things that people used to put like in their fish tanks? Like the little, I don't want to call them sea people, but what were they? You just like put a packet of them. I'm blanking. It's like a super 90s and like 80s thing that people used to do. But whatever. It's literally like that. Like he just sprinkles that into the moat, and then you see like these mutant eels like pop up and like are jumping around. It's actually kind of terrible or terrifying. But like he is truly creating a defensive perimeter around this magic tree. Go on, Courage. You do it. Do the thing. Protect this tree at all costs. Eustace then, I guess maybe a couple of days later, this is like 2 out of the 3 days until the tree has prophesied that it will be cut down. Eustace starts to face down the tree and he's like ready for battle. And it's like very Braveheart-esque where he's wearing like a Scottish independence warrior's outfit.
God.
Like I want to say his face is painted maybe,
I'm gonna assume it is.
Yeah, he's got like this like tunic type thing on.
Oh my God.
A bear hide is like over his head and like draped down his back.
Sir.
And he's holding, oddly enough, he's not holding the axe that he spent the last couple of days sharpening. He's holding this like makeshift like wooden axe or like hatchet type thing. But
you spent 2 days getting your outfit together and you had to order takeout for breakfast. You couldn't make some eggs. Huh? You skinned a bear?
You found a bear and then skinned it.
You couldn't put some bacon on the stove?
Nope. You couldn't wish the tree to like teach you how to cook? Nothing? Nothing?
No. Okay. No cinnamon buns from the tree?
Yeah.
Already made? No?
Exactly.
Cool.
No?
Fine.
Cool. Just Braveheart it. And yeah, he probably spent the 2 days just like watching Braveheart and like mentally preparing for battle.
Sewing.
Yeah. Nice. Like skinning a bear.
Yeah, exactly.
Normal. So Courage, he sees that Eustace is getting ready to attack. And so he puts into place his first defensive mechanism, which pretty much is just like throwing marbles on the ground while Eustace is running towards him. Which actually works because Eustace trips and slips on the marbles and like falls directly into the moat and is then attacked by the mutant eels.
Well dead.
So I'm like, okay, cool. First strike. It works. But Eustace, he's got a little bit more resolve again when it comes to chopping down this tree that is providing happiness to his wife and his dog. He has all the determination in the world when it comes to learning how to fry some bacon and some eggs.
Never heard of it.
No thanks. Never heard of it. Can't do it. Sorry. Haven't heard of it.
Take out Grubhub it.
Yeah. Which also, like, imagine how expensive the delivery fees would be to like deliver something to the middle of nowhere.
Delivery? How is this happening?
Yep. No. Eustace, he'll find a way. If it keeps him from cooking, he will find a way to do it. If it gets Muriel back into the kitchen, he will find a way to do it. So he continues to try and infiltrate this defensive perimeter that Courage has created. But each time he finds himself in one way or another falling into the moat and being attacked by the mutant eels, showing that like TBH, Courage is like a modern day Napoleon Bonaparte for real. Like this dude is a war genius. He's got this whole thing planned out.
He was fucking ready.
He was ready. Maybe he wished the tree to like give him some like defensive knowledge or something. Like,
they actually all the knowledge cut away.
Military general.
They started war strategy and war games. They had like the map, like pushing the little like tanks along it.
At one point, you do actually see he's like sketched something into the dirt, like on the ground in the boat, and he's like moving like little marble pieces around. Like, okay, here's how I'll do it.
Strategy genius.
Yes,
genius.
So night begins to fall. And at this point, it's been a long day of battle because many of the sandcastle walls protecting the tree have fallen and there's like holes in them. And you see Courage just like sitting inside, clearly tired and exhausted from this hard fought battle that has just been dragging on. And he's kind of like, he's at his wit's end. He's like, okay, I've used all of my tricks, all my war games, everything. I only have so much left up my sleeve before Eustace actually infiltrates. So at this exact point, though, Courage receives a phone call from the town doctor who excitedly tells Courage that he's found the cure. I guess he never really gave up. Yeah, for bully. He never really gave up and decided to continue researching it. So Courage, he jumps into the truck, into Eustace's truck, speeds down. It's so cute. He's like driving, you like whipping it around the streets and stuff, like literally flooring it down to the doctor's office, hoping to get this cure before Eustace continues his attacks on the magic tree. And when Courage gets to the doctor's office, again, commentary on the healthcare system. The doctor tells him, like, I've discovered a remedy to cure your broken leg.
Oh my God.
And he like hands him this vial of some like concoction. And Courage is just like confused, like looks at the concoction, looks at the doctor. Exactly. He's like, what?
I came all this way
for this? And so back on the farm, we see this. Yeah. It makes no sense at all. And Courage doesn't even scream or whatever. He's like too stunned and confused to even react.
Bullshit.
He's like, I better not have to fucking pay for this.
Yeah, he's like, because I'm not going to.
I'm not going to. So back at the farm, Eustace, he's like getting ready. He now has pulled out his axe and he's getting ready to swing it on the tree. And just as he's like warming up, getting ready to freaking hatch at this thing, the tree comes back to life. And we see it. It's God. Like, yes, we see the off-putting mouth and eyes pop back up. And it asks him, which again does not disturb Eustace at all. The tree asks him, what is it to you that cutting me down will bring? Will it
Oh,
make you
damn.
feel more important?
Oh, damn.
And I know, like, whoa, but Eustace, I know,
He's getting read right now
burn.
by this fucking tree.
Exactly. He actually, at this point, Eustace is like, well, yes, actually, it will. And then he fucking swings on it. Doesn't
Oh.
even take a second thought.
Oh,
And so we
no.
see Courage speeding back to the farm to try to protect the tree before it's too late. But unfortunately, as he whips the truck right back in front of the farm, we see that it is, in fact, too late. And Eustace has just finished chopping it down. And obviously, Eustace is too lazy to move that shit. So the tree is literally just like toppled over, laid out right there in front of Courage. Just leave it there, whatever. And so this literally causes Courage to scream a scream that shatters the moon. He like freaks out. In Courage, he runs up to the tree and he kneels down by it and he just starts crying and he weeps and weeps until he hears the tree calling for him, just like, Courage, Courage. And its face appears back on it. It's not quite dead yet. And he says,
breaths.
In its last dying breaths, he says, the tree tells him, I have the remedy you seek. And Courage then smiles, but tears are still filled up in his eyes. And the tree continues, pick all of the flowers from my branches and mix with pure hornet's honey. This is the cure. And these are the tree's last words as its eyes and mouth disappear, signaling
this is
its
heartbreaking.
Death. It is very sad because Courage, even though he's smiling that he's able to get this cure, he is like still crying through the smiles. And by the way, though, I will say, in case you were wondering, hornets do not make honey, but whatever. We will not doubt the wisdom of the magic tree.
At the end, the tree was like, fuck you, humans.
Yeah.
Have fun
like,
finding this.
Yeah. Have fun finding this hornet's honey. Yeah. Bye.
Yeah, bye. Fuck you.
See ya.
I'm out.
So, Courage, though, he rummages through the branches of the fallen tree. He picks out all these little pink rose flowers from them. And then he does somehow find this massive hornet's nest that's hanging from some other tree. And he like kind of holds his breath, takes a deep breath before mentally preparing for how painful this is about to be. And he climbs right on up into this hornet's nest and steals a bunch of honey from it, which, as I alluded, is a very painful experience for Courage because we just like the camera pans away and we just hear his screams in the background as he's like stealing this honey. But again, just as the tree taught him, anything worth its value, aka Muriel, is worth fighting for. So Courage then goes back to the farmhouse and he's like covered in bites and bumps and is all swollen from being attacked by these hornets. And he like mixes this disgusting looking orangish pinkish concoction of honey and rosebuds. And he just like spoons it into Muriel's mouth. And after she chews for a few bites, her head instantly shrinks back to the normal size. And she's immediately back to her old self. And she's like, oh, Courage, can I make you some tea? Would you like some tea? And then she just hums off and like happily moseys her way back into the kitchen. And later, Courage and Muriel, they're outside standing by the stump of the tree trunk, all that remains of it, remembering what a blessing that magic tree was, but also joyfully tending to a rose that is starting to grow from the stump, showing that it may live again. It is beautiful. It's just a sign of what may come for them in the future. And even more beautifully, we then go back inside the house where we see Eustace laid out on the couch with an enlarged green boil covered head.
The tree did get one last fuck you.
It did. He's like, I got him. I got him. He's like, he didn't have to wish for that one. I did that as a courtesy to you.
Yes. Free of charge.
Yes. And Eustace is just like Muriel was earlier. He's in pain. He's moaning and groaning like, Muriel, Muriel, is the tree grown back yet?
Bitch, no.
And that's the end of the episode.
I like to imagine that then Muriel and Courage like scoop that little rose out like with the soil, get in the truck and never look back.
And never come back. They like have it in this nice pot and everything, tending to it, watering it in the car. Yep.
They're fucking going to Cabo, baby.
Eustace there with his case of bully.
Sucks to suck.
Sucks.
Wow.
Too bad you cut that tree down. Yep. And that is the end. And that episode, by the way, is called The Magic Tree of Nowhere. So
got it.
Literally a magic tree. Season 2, episode 1A.
Amazing. Mm-hmm. Wow. Eustace was the monster there.
Truly, the villain, the true villain. Like there's 1 second where you're scared by the tree, literally only when it like has a mouth and is talking.
Yeah.
But then you're like, oh yeah, but it's obviously a good tree. It's like off-putting, but it's not like oh my God, it's a monster tree.
Right.
But other than that, Eustace truly is the villain.
Wow, fuck that guy.
Mm-hmm. It is a horror movie.
Damn.
AKA a horrible husband and
exactly.
And the story of a wife and her dog trying to escape the horrors of this terrible man.
A literal horror movie. Yes. Because that happens. And only magic tree. Wow, great work. I am very excited to watch this episode and also bracing myself for the God tree face.
It's just so uncomfortable to see. It's like, and also just because there's something about like filming close up on someosone's mouth that is always just a little weird. To do that and then to like superimpose it onto a cartoon animated tree.
Purple tree.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited
it's weird.
to view it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Disturbed and excited all at once.
Yes. So again, not particularly Halloween themed, but episode did come out on Halloween. And again, it's Courage. So everything about it is always creepy and off-putting and weird and spooky. But next week my episode is very explicitly Halloween themed. I can't wait to do that one. But until then, Grace, who should the folks tell about this podcast?
I think you should tell an arborist, someone who works on trees, and let them know.
Nice. Yeah.
But warn them, give like a trigger warning for this episode that they will see a beautiful tree get cut down unnecessarily.
Yes.
So let them know up top.
Exactly. Yeah. And then I guess after that, you should tell a tree cutter, someone who cuts down trees or the branches of trees.
Get inspired by this one.
Yeah. Don't cut down magic trees, though, or else you too will get a horrible case of bully.
And you'll deserve it.
And no one will be there to save you because you cut down the tree that could save you. So
yeah, exactly. So sucks to suck.
Sucks to suck.
Yeah.
You suck.
You deforesters.
Yeah. So that's all. Until next week.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in to Saturday Morning Mysteries.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share, rate, review, leave us a like, and drop a comment. We post episodes every Saturday and bonus tune tangents whenever we feel like it. So please subscribe so you don't miss the shenanigans.
And if you want to follow us on YouTube, click the bell under the YouTube subscribe button to receive notifications when new videos are posted.
And if you want to subscribe to the podcast, we have no idea what you're listening to us on, so just hit the big subscribe button on whatever app you're using. We believe in you.
Give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at SatmornMist, all the abreves, and let us know if you have any episode or show requests by emailing SaturdayMorningMysteries@gmail.com.
Thanks to Jenna Kendall for the logo design and to Ava Sakiki for the music used during this week's episode.
See y'all groovy kids next week on Saturday Morning Mysteries.